Well, my name is George Boykins. I'm a supervisory special agent with the FBI here in Los Angeles. I work as the supervisor who oversees violent crime in Orange County. Violent crime for the FBI consists of a broad range of matters to include gangs, drugs, violent crime against children, um, violent crime in general, which would encompass bank robberies, fugitives, and anything with a reactive nexus is what I'm responsible for. My agents go out with police officers every day through task force work and engage in their shared responsibility to protect the county.
My name is David Coloso. I'm a supervisory special agent for the FBI here in Los Angeles, and I supervise a squad for civil rights agents. So we cover all civil rights violations here in Los Angeles in all 7 counties. We cover hate crimes, crimes against the churches, which covers the FACE Act, and we also do color law investigations.
We've been there and we've seen it, or sometimes we kind of oblivious, or sometimes we dismiss things. So that's why we really kind of want to see from your perspective, from your investigative perspective, what are the key things, right, that we need to be looking for?
A hate crime is defined by an action, either verbally or physically, that is considered a true threat that leads to violence, or someone fears that a violent act is going to happen to them. And so that's what the hate crime statute is federally, is that it has to rise to the level where the person fears for their life or for physical harm that something bad is going to happen based on someone's hatred for them or their bias against them when it comes to race, origin, gender, or sexual orientation. So certain actions are, again, if someone is assaulted, if someone is prevented from entering a building or prevented from going somewhere, if someone pushes them, and then again uses some speech against their gender, sexual orientation, origin, race, and they do it in a way that the person knows that they're targeting them because of their protected class. There has to be a threat of physical harm in order for the federal law enforcement to investigate it. So we have the First Amendment here, and people are able to speak freely, and sometimes speech is hurtful and hateful, but it's not a crime. And so there has to be a fear of bodily injury that the person feels. The injury doesn't have to happen. The violence doesn't have to happen. The person who says the bad words or does the bad act doesn't even have to do it, but the person has to feel that it's going to happen to them because of their race, their gender, sexual orientation. It's always good to report it. So if you feel it, report it, because that gives the federal authorities and the local authorities the opportunity to investigate it and to look into it and to see if the person who you're reporting has a history of it, or it's the first time, or whatever the background is. We don't like to put people in jail for spontaneous actions because they're angry and they spout something that they really didn't mean. We have to show a history of bias, a history of hatred, and that they committed a violent act.
The FBI specifically, we have a victim services entity attached to how we operate. And we try, when we're doing a good job at it, to include them in all our cases. There's actual federal mandate to do that. So our victim services specialists are outstanding. They have access to community-based resources. So they would be the ones that would direct a victim or a witness specific to the services that are relevant.
What happens when we're working on hate crime investigations and there is a victim or there is a witness that needs assistance, we get their name and their information and we hand that over to victim services. And so while we are investigating, the victim services reaches out to them and asks if they need counseling, if they need assistance, if they need help. And then that's through the investigation process. And if it goes to the court proceedings where they're indicted and charges are pressed,
Mhm.
then the U.S. Attorney's Office also has a victim services, and so it transitions from the FBI victim services to the United States Attorney's Office victim services,
Okay.
and then they will still provide the same amount of resources, but when it comes to transportation to and from the court or making
Right.
sure everybody's aware of everything, victim services handles.
Right.
Right.
What can I actually do
Yeah.
in that moment in time?
I would prepare myself,
Right.
right? If I'm in that situation, which happens occasionally, like you mentioned, sometimes it's random
Hmm.
and you don't see it coming.
Right.
Um, First and foremost, what I try to do is get myself out of that situation. I try to de-escalate
Okay.
what could potentially be a problem. So
Walk tall and proud,
Yeah.
and like you're ready, like you belong there.
Yeah.
Look people in the eye,
Right.
make contact, say hello,
Mhm.
make sure they know that you know they're there,
Mhm.
so they're not sneaking up on you.
Mhm.
Show a little courage and a little pride.
Mhm.
They're looking for the easy target. They're looking for
Okay.
the timid target. As a bystander, I would say take a step back, try to record it, try to call 911 for the person who's being attacked. You don't have to be involved because you might be the best witness. You might be able to take the photograph, take the video, remember what car they're driving, remember the clothes that they're wearing, and exactly what was said and what was heard. Because when you're a victim, sometimes you don't get all that information.
Right, you can't.
You're protecting yourself. Your body.
I'm going to say 911 for emergency purposes,
Okay.
right? Emergency constitute there is a crime in progress where someone, and it's not just, but
Hmm.
the most important ones are the potential for people to get injured or killed. We want an immediate response to that. We want a 911 response to that. I think the key takeaway here is making the report. You can do so by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Okay.
You can do it anonymously online.
Okay.
I believe there's an anonymous tips website
Right.
for that purpose.
Okay.
Right. So you have a variety of ways to contact law enforcement in response
Mhm.
to an incident.
If something happened, if there was a hate incident or a hate speech, or there was a crime that is no longer occurring,
Mhm.
and you're away from that dangerous situation, and you still want to report it,
Mhm.
the county of Los Angeles and the county of Orange County have a number called 211, similar to 911, but it's 211.
Okay.
And that is an operator who has police, fire, mental health, and any other type of victim services that the victim can have a conversation with them and report the crime.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.